What can you even say about Paul Daniels?
He's a magical man.
True, and that he once publicly offered to help Ian Huntley end his own life. But you can also say he was very consistent. Over the course of a long television career, Daniels had 17 Christmas specials, plus an Easter special, and 2 at Halloween. But we'll be focusing on the former, as it is Christmas. Or I suppose, whatever time of the year it is when you're watching this. Maybe it's 2075 and I'm long dead. Remember me, as we now remember the Christmas specials of Paul Daniels. We begin with 1981, where there's some unfortunately stinky AI upscaling on the source material. It's like peering inside a robot's nightmare. This early one doesn't feel Christmassy at all, very simple and low-key, with unspectacular and, dare I say, rather boring birthday party magic. The old cups and balls, plastic mugs tied to ropes, men who came to watch telly being filmed in suits and ties only to get pulled into Daniel's sex games.
Now I'm going to tie them. Don't stand with your hand on your hip, sir. The cameramen get very excited.
You've told all your friends you're gonna be on the box, and now Paul Daniels is passively aggressively berating you in the middle of a routine.
Now that's going to take a little bit more skill. You agree? You do. There you go. Not loud, but he does agree. You've got. What's your name?
Steve.
Steve. Well, you've got to project your voice, Steve. Fill the place with sound. That's what we're after.
Imagine the stress Steve's under right now. Don't blow it. Don't get told off on telly again. Not quiet, but not too loud either. Just right.
I'm going to try to cut the cards and find the queen of clubs. Do you believe I could?
Yes, Paul! And you really don't want to make him angry. Just ask Vanilla Ice.
We are humane.
I'm not stupid, and don't you ever
I didn't
try to
say
come at me
that.
with that.
Okay.
Don't you ever say I am stupid.
You calm down, man.
I'm not going to calm down.
You may note the lack of the lovely Debbie McGee, having only met Paul the previous year and still not full-time in the act, though this is the wig years. But much of the show is given up to guest performers, like this classically outfitted magician, who's basically if Liberace was Spider-Man. This pair are simply called Les Samurai, and not, as it must have appeared in the Radio Times, Les Samurai.
Tea for two and two for tea.
Me for you and you for me.
This is weird, isn't it? Really weird. To be on telly at all, but especially in this setting. Feels like they wandered in from a Colombo where someone got murked at a karate dojo. In '84, they've Christmased up the opening credits. Not sure about this rhyme though.
He's the man who excels, old and young.
And most importantly of all,
Christmas card this year.
Christmas, Paul.
A little late, Debbie, but...
he's now big enough to land proper celebrity guests, like novelist and yachtswoman Claire Francis, Bonnie Langford, Annika, Valerie Dunican, and... the trick involves randomly picking unlabelled Christmas presents via coloured baubles.
Okie dokie. Who got the green one?
I did.
Give it to the legs. And we just... Lovely leg, Annika. Oh, there it is. Yes, isn't that sweet? A pink doorknob for your door.
Larry's very pleased to be handling a pink knob. A guest act smokes a cigar the size of a turd and chucks a red hat about the place. The good old days, when you could make a whole career touring a tight five juggling hats. In quite a coup, The great clown George Carl's there. Until I got online and looked it up, I had a false childhood memory of Carl playing the Royal Variety, with an act that consisted of him eating his hat and entire mic stand. But even the real act would sound mental if you walked into an agent's office and described it. Minimalist comic time wasting, dicking around with the microphone and whatnot. The purported act never gets going, doing nothing, while doing everything. One man in the audience seems to be particularly loving it. God, I don't think I've enjoyed myself that much a single second of my life. The guest booking on these shows was wild.
And a famous publisher, Mr. Robert Maxwell. And I'd like a welcome for these gentlemen, because they've...
Wonder if his daughter's watching from the green room.
And that's why you're here. You are men of integrity. Not a lot, not a lot.
Maxwell looks like a gone-to-seed Dracula, and the trick involves £1 million in cash, played on by a BBC big band A-Team theme. But Paul's downfall is often the length of the setup, slowly showing you every little corner of the equipment, and 8 minutes after the money gets wheeled in, they're only just starting counting it. Plus, we know how the trick's gonna end, and it's another 5 minutes before the inevitable. Money vanished, has it? And it's teleported into the safe? Though I've always liked magic, that's when it loses me. Paul's at his best showing off the mastery of his craft. And like jokes, magic's all about the punchline, the surprise. If you stand in front of the Eiffel Tower waffling on about how you're going to make it disappear, we know it's going to be gone when you whip the curtain away.
Yuletide greetings to all viewers and to audience.
That's not the case in 84's opening, with a celebrity-packed routine you couldn't predict in a million years.
Order! Arms!
Wilmot, Armstrong, Lynham, Maddock, Artois, Dobson, Anita Not Wayne, and some nervous bloke out of the audience.
Have you got a telly show?
No, I'm afraid not.
After shuffling themselves, they've been assigned a random panto character, drawn by a pervert.
Gordon. What have you got? This is it. Reveal all. No, don't drop that. Reveal... Oh, this, yes, right. I tell you, these have... they've improved enormously. I mean, in terms of volume.
Loves a milky one, does Daniels.
Oh! That's the first time I've seen Robinson Crusoe looking more like Man Friday. Now look at that. See that? Now that... I shall say nothing, Gary. But this... The, very interesting Aladdin costume.
Paul, mate, slow down, or I'll have to get Roy Castle on the blower for most cancellations in a single skit. But again, it's 10 minutes of waffle, over-explaining every prop just to have Debbie appear in the trunk dressed as Aladdin. Harry Blackstone Jr. does his magic light bulb routine like Uncle Fester, and I'll give him this. That's a magician's beard if ever I've seen one. There's some sentences you know you'll only ever hear once.
This man has spent 7 years rebuilding the puppet you're about to see. The puppet on the trapeze.
The puppet's name is Antonio Diavolo, or in English, Tony Devil. Incredible core strength on the haunted little fucker, though.
Look at the strength in those shoulders.
Yeah, look at that for a lift. Oh, what a balance.
Weirdest thing about this bit is there's just one word Daniels always pronounces in an American accent.
About 137 years ago, I daren't touch it, I'll tell you, I know. His last performance was about 75 years ago.
Yes, that's right.
Speaking of puppets...
And, according to the New York Times, is the world's best ventriloquist. we shall find out as I introduce to you the talent of Ron Lucas.
Well, that's Christmas ruined.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Might as well put a turkey in the bin.
Get that tree down, Mum.
Attempting to save the season, there's a magical tribute to Dickens.
Now, of course, there would be people like this who sold flowers. Some people sold other things. Thank you, my dear.
Please do bring up sex work in this Christmas special. Then he puts Tiny Tim, the actual Tiny Tim off Scrooge, into a trance and makes him float. And Tiny Tim, who did not obey the laws of gravity. Scrooge himself even shows up. Here, Paul, your hair looks really nice and natural.
That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me.
This was a dark harbinger for where the Paul Daniels Christmas shows would go. And by 1990, we're straight in with a musical number.
I know that you've seen the world, you've been around, but I can tell you stories that will quite astound you. You're not a fool, you went to school. I've been from Liverpool to Istanbul. Istanbul?
A vaudevillian carnival setting. It's an hour which pays tribute to the old-fashioned carny hucksters.
She's got no eyes, ladies and gentlemen, she's got no eyes. The head has gone. And of course, would you mind crossing your legs, my dear?
Throughout the show, we're joined by more guest magicians, including this very frightening clown, though they're all quite clearly Paul Daniels in 90s prosthetics. Our most exciting moment is thanks to whoever uploaded the video.
Morning, Jem. What we got, darling?
Can we not have Tony Butler back?
Nothing's gonna break it home. Keep it in the family.
Oh no, magician please. I'm sorry. Better the devil you know. What the hell is he wearing? When people ask me how much I make on YouTube.
I've got to ask you a very simple question. Have you got any money upon your person? Just a minute here.
Quickly moving on. Paul's in more makeup, this time as Noel Edmonds. This would be unbelievably strange at any time of year.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that a wonderful box?
It's alright, it can't get any weirder. We've reached the ceiling.
I found one. Now, what we're going to do, this is the lovely Debbie McGee. A round of applause for Debbie McGee. That's enough throwing, Debbie.
Out of all the disguises, save the sharpest intake of breath for when this one's announced.
Now then, you are just in time, ladies and gentlemen, to see one of the finest entertainers ever to come from the Far East, from Japan. It's the great Sakura. Step right up, see Sakura.
Though it's made miles better by knowing that under those outfits, there's just BBC gaffers with names like Ken and Mike. Paul takes the time out to have an impassioned dig against animal cruelty. Sorry, for animal cruelty.
Well, here I am at last in the circus ring, a place that I love. And when I was a child, I used to love going and watching all those beautiful wild animals. It's where I learned to love them. And I sometimes wonder, now that the animals have left the circus ring, or being forced out, I wonder where the kids of tomorrow are going to learn to love them and see them and touch them and see how clever they are. I don't know.
Poor elephants. They don't get to stand on a stool in agony while being whipped anymore, thanks to the woke mind virus.
And you can't ask an animal, can you? Which would you rather have? Regular food, good vet, or hunting in a forest? I don't know. Come on, help us get that trunk out.
Cuddles has been hitting the gym.
If we could walk with the animals, talk with the animals.
Just to compound his earlier rant, for the big finish, he pulls a succession of frightened animals out of a magic box.
Over here, what have we got next? Oh, a duck! Oh, there you go. Be careful, this one is truly dangerous. There it is. Oh, now that's what I call a wild animal. Wild.
On to 92. They've not festived up the titles, but we do get the present of some lovely tracking core. It's the classic setting, at home with the Daniels, like we're Louis Theroux.
Good evening. Welcome to my home.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love said to me...
Haven't you put these decorations up yet?
It's a sort of Liz Dawn's house party vibe. Half sitcom, with Debbie bossing him around.
Oh, well, I just need some help folding this sheet up. That's what I was doing, and I came in and saw that.
Well, you just have a look.
Hey, I want to see how this is done. Come on, you're having me on.
I'm no prude, but is Christmas really the time to be showing off the old dick balance?
Oh, madness. Total madness.
A flashback scene shows us Daniels as a schoolboy. A Chinese one by the sound of it.
But one day I will be rich and famous. I will appear at the Middlesbrough Empire. Oh, nothing. Right, okay. Right, I will. My mummy was right. You should not play with matches. Oh.
He's tortured in a nightmare by a giant dove, and Debbie dressed as a rabbit, before another musical sequence as Merlin.
It's about magic. It's about wonder. It's about tingles down your spine, hair that stands on end. Don't you love to pretend?
Pagan filth on the Lord's birthday?
Don't you love to have fun?
No, I don't. You can't trust anyone. It's not his house, it's the studio. See you in court.
This is a concrete floor, isn't it? Stamp around, have a good time. This is what show business is about, right? Hi, dum-dum.
Make it dance. Swing from its trunk. Put it to work, Debbie.
Next, it's Christmas time at the Bouquet household in just a moment.
It's not all bad. Daniel's Christmas specials really ran the cultural gamut, from the staid fashions and grim palette of 1981 to this in 93.
If you want to win a chance to meet Mr. Blobby, you've got to be watching all of the house party on New Year's Day, and you could be a winner with the big pink one.
The party begins at 6:55 on BBC One.
It's an unsettling opening, riding round on a flying living room. Imagine seeing that go past your window.
What's your name? Nicola. And what's your name? Yep.
I'm asking Santa for my licence fee back.
When Santa got... Very nice.
Hello? Hello?
But we do get another one of Paul's Christmas safety tips.
Fire's nasty, isn't it? Yeah, you mustn't play with fire. If you find a gun lying around, give it to a policeman, all right? Because they're good fellas and they'll look after you. Okie dokie, bye-bye.
And this forgotten catchphrase.
Whoops-a-diddly-dido, whoops-a-diddly-dido, whoops-a-diddly-doo.
Regarding catchphrases, doesn't the yes Paul thing make him sound like a dominatrix?
Say, yes, Paul.
Yes, Paul.
Yes, Paul.
Say, yes, Paul. And say, yes, Paul. Come on. Say, no, Paul.
No, Paul.
Say, yes, Paul.
Yes, Paul.
Shout, yes, Paul.
Yes, Paul.
A real perfectionist, he will not stop until it's perfect, until he's got what he wants.
Say thank you, Father Christmas.
Thank you.
Father Christmas. Say thank you, Father Christmas.
Thank you. Oh, Christmas.
Father Christmas, that's nice.
As forewarned, when budgets grew, magic took a back seat to big productions, from a man who doesn't have the strongest singing voice.
Put a little magic in your life. I'll help you change your ways. I'll sparkle up your days. I can put a little magic in your life.
There's more dance numbers than card tricks, obviously choreographed by Debbie, a professional dancer. And though they did later duet on Celebrity Stars in Their Eyes, I mean...
It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping.
In previous years, he'd brought out Son and Wisbit's brother Martin Daniels in tiny little knickers for a water escape, and here he gets a whole guest slot.
There we are. There we are. There we are. And there we are. There we are. There we are.
Then another Scrooge sketch.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and the bees. I need money. Oh, that's what I want.
From 1980s Cups and Balls, we've arrived at song and dance routines with a trio of ghosts, and as Christmas Carol adaptations go, I'd put it just above Ross Kemp's, solely for this surprising appearance of an oft-used theme.
I am the spirit of Christmas past.
Who you gonna call?
Big year for Martin, as he gets to do Beauty and the Beast too. I ain't never gonna call you Mum.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
And that's why you should regularly change the batteries in your CO2 detectors. Between his wife and son doing all the work, Paul's really taking it easy this year. Oh, here he is.
Christmas makes you feel emotional. It may bring parties or thoughts devotional.
It's here the goblin warlock commits his foulest occult ritual yet, summoning a legion of demons up from hell's stage school.
Gosh, oh, do I have fun following animals one by one. When I get hold of the big apple, I just push it out into the ground. It doesn't come with me.
This is his big closer, by the way, the grand finale for the 1993 Paul Daniels Magic Show. Him just stood at the back doing sod all.
On a good ship, lollipop, it's sweet trip to the candy shop.
Paul's Christmas specials would end in 1994, and it was for the best the way things were going. If he'd carried on past the millennium, you'd have been lucky to have seen a single playing card. Well, Paul probably would have released a bloody swing album. And how many people want that?
Not a lot. Not a lot. All right, till then, have a nice one.
Oh,